My name is Ben.
And my name is Jack. We'd like to welcome today a husband and wife super team who have a combined 30 years experience in the wedding industry. We've got Serena, who's a wedding planner, and Dominic, who's a wedding DJ. And together they've created a brand that boasts over 500,000 people in terms of their audiences. Between running their San Antonio-based wedding company, traveling for events, and creating wedding content, they have proven that you can take your side hustle to a six-figure income and more. They launched their podcast in 2022 and are looking to release their book, The Wedding Duo Way, in the fall of 2025. So big welcome to you guys, Dominic and Serena.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yes, we're excited to be here.
We're coming from the
it's 9:00 at night over in San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we are in the other region of the world, and it is in the late hours of the evening for us here.
I said to Serena, next time bring a champagne, darling. You're more than welcome.
Yeah, there should be a glass of wine on the table in front of you, Serena.
There's at all times at this time of the night. Yes, absolutely. That's part of it.
Well, it was good timing. We just finished. I'm coaching my youngest son in his soccer team, so we finished the game. I'm like, let's go, pack it up. We got to get back for the.
Yep.
I was just going to say, Ben, we need to change the name of this podcast to Jack Bowie encouraging people to drink.
We need to talk.
I think that's part of the wedding industry, isn't it? I don't know. Maybe.
I know. It drives us, doesn't it, darling? It drives us to drink. All right. So I guess, there we go. Take a big sip. Let's start the story, I guess, about how both of you entered the wedding industry.
Yeah, no, that's a great path.
Well, I was there first. I beat her by about 5 years. I was doing stand-up comedy in California at the time, and I had a friend who had a DJ company, and I told him, if sometimes at a corporate event, at least in the States, they'll have a hypnotist or a magician or a comedian just do kind of some entertainment on one of the evenings. And I said, if you're ever looking for a half-hour clean comedy, I can do that. And he said, I could use some help DJing, and I've always had a love for music. And the hardest thing about a wedding DJ is being comfortable talking on one of these things, right? So for me, the tip of the spear for public speaking is stand-up comedy, right? Pretty close anyway. So for me, that was like already a shoo-in for me, and the stars kind of aligned. And I'm like, oh my God, this is a job? I can do this for a living? And then one of the vendors that I worked with, one of the venues, was looking for somebody to help with the catering and the events.
Yeah, and that's where I started. So I started in a event services role as just kind of an assistant to the event manager, and worked my way up to my own event management position. And that's where it all started. So it started in Northern California. The wedding duo did not come about for much longer, and that was when we moved to Texas. So, yeah.
I want to know, were you already together before you sort of became this business duo?
Yes. So that we were dating at the time that he introduced me to the gal that needed the help at her venue.
Pretty new though. We were very new. Yeah.
You know,
fresh.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like, "You want to be in the wedding industry? Here you go." So yeah.
I'm like, don't screw this up.
Exactly.
I'm gonna go rogue off the script straight up and go, Dominic, how do you do clean stand-up comedy?
It's an art. It can be done.
It is the finest of the finest point of that artwork, I think. So
it can be done. Very young comedians, without going on a sidetrack, it's low-hanging fruit to be really blue and dirty and tell raunchy jokes. And they tell you, like, don't go down that road, because you can do that if you're established, but if you're new, you got to work clean. And I just kind of stayed in that lane, and it worked really well for me. So,
wow. Okay.
I love to swear. Don't get me wrong. I love it. So,
Yeah.
Absolute respect to you, Dominic, for doing clean stand-up. Wow. So to the both of you, what inspired you to combine your talents and create the wedding duo?
Yeah, so that's another interesting part of our journey. There was actually never an intention to become a husband and wife team, and even to own our own business, honestly. So we had moved to Texas, was working a corporate job at the time, and he started DJing again. right when we got there, just for extra cash on the weekends, right? And so at that point, we weren't really thinking big picture, but it kind of just blew up on us. I mean, I'm not just saying this, he's very good at his job. And so it was easy for him to start attracting more business, and people were booking him left and right. And then with my experience in the planning, we just started to make it make sense, right? Like I left my corporate position, added the planning team. It just, the stars kind of, like you said, aligned for us in that way too. Like it was just never something we set out to like, let's start a business together. No.
It's a pretty good gig though. We attend parties for a living. I mean, you know, there's worse jobs.
So true. And together, right? Which is really fun.
And you haven't tried to murder each other yet at all? Like everything's good?
No, that is not.
Great work.
Challenging. It's challenging. We do tell couples all the time that, you know, ask us about being a husband and wife team. Like, how do you do it? Because it's not for every relationship. I will tell you that. Like, you really have to work at the marriage and being business partners, because it can easily kind of, you know.
And sometimes the opposite is true. I always forget when we work together, the guests don't always know we're married. And I know there have been whispers like, the DJ is kind of handsy with the plan. I'm like, oh, I forget. Keep your hands in your pockets there, DJ.
They're like, what's going on?
He's like, he's all up in her face. I'm like, what the?
But, you know, it's a perk.
That'd be a great trick to play on couples on the day. So good job.
Sorry, I'm gonna ask, and it's not a stretch. I can see why you guys would be good at this, but what prompted you to kind of go into this sort of short form video side of things for your business?
Yeah. So the short answer to that is COVID. COVID was obviously for the event industry just major. And we were sitting around the house going, we had no events, you know, and we were like, what are we doing, A, with our time, and B, we were just going a little nuts, right? Like we have all this time on our hands. So we started a TikTok account in 2020, or was the end of 2019? I don't know, whenever that happened. And that's where we started to just learn how much fun we had creating videos, and started reaching people through these, whether it be lip sync or dancing or just acting a fool, and but being educational at the same time. That was really where we kind of fell in love with that piece of it.
So guys, what platforms have you found the most effective for sharing your video content?
Yeah,
it definitely is. TikTok is where we really got the traction and took off, and that's still, we have about 503,000 followers on TikTok. Wow. But we have 164 on Instagram and just over 100,000 on Facebook. So, but those were kind of later to the party. We focused on TikTok, and then we just repurposed our videos over there. And then suddenly they started to catch up too, because whatever their preferred format is, whether they're TikTokers or whatever they lay down at night, whatever they go to start scrolling. I mean, if you're in the industry, you should be casting a wide net, right? Try to get them wherever they're at. And but TikTok is what started it all, and that's really where we got our traction for sure.
Okay. I'm not good at TikTok, so I want to know, what's the hack? What's your kind of process for creating engaging short form videos, particularly for TikTok?
TikTok is its own animal, and people are intimidated by it, I think, a lot. I do hear that often. Yes, especially in the wedding industry, because it's less curated, meaning like pretty pictures, something you can edit and make it look nice, you know. There's a lot more rawness to the videos on TikTok, and so you have to really be okay with showing certain sides of your personality. And I, to be honest with you, am not as comfortable with it as he is. I am very fortunate to have my dancing monkey here that will do the videos and act a fool, because it's helpful, right? But to your question about kind of what works, you know, we really have found that experimenting with what your audience wants to hear from you, right? Like you can look at trending stuff that's going on in the industry and mimic something that you see, maybe put your own twist on it, you know, and then give your own perspective, your own viewpoints. That's really been helpful for us, is to find our way through inspiration from other people, honestly. And that's kind of what social media is about. It's like, you're okay to be a copycat.
Well, and the wedding industry, they are, at least in the States, they're very lopsided on Instagram. And the same thing, they're looking over the fence like, what's going on over in TikTok? And I'm like, we do the same thing. We don't do anything different for TikTok than we do for Instagram. However, we'll do a video and it'll do really well on one of the formats and meh on the other two. And then the opposite will happen on a different video. So you think like, oh, we got to figure it out. Like, oh my God. I mean, big X on the wall where it says bang head here. Yep. And you're like, oh, what is that?
What's more important is consistency, is showing up. You know, we were doing them in the beginning during COVID. We were doing, 2-3 videos a day. We just had the time, right?
Don't go back and look at those early videos.
So you got to show up frequently and be okay with it not being perfect, I guess, is part of that too.
Guys, I've heard that obviously through all the interviews that we've done, that showing up frequently is the key. So how do you guys still show up frequency and balance running a business and traveling and events and creating content and maintaining a friendship and a marriage and all that sort of stuff? Like, how does the juggling monkey juggle all that?
We don't. It's all fake, honestly. We don't.
We fall apart half the time. Yeah.
Well, there's one thing that we do. Like the first part is with the social media. I have a list on notes on my phone, because we'll see a comment and somebody will say, "Hey, can you do this song?" If I do a song video, they'll be like, "Oh, what about this one? What about this one?" I write, if it's a good one, I'll write it down or I'll get to it later. And just like all of your listeners, if you're a photographer, you know the top 3 questions that the brides are going to ask. So we have a list of just all these questions. And when I'm sitting in the airport waiting to board a flight, when I'm walking into the venue, whenever there's time, I'm always like, I should probably do a TikTok. Just take a minute, walk away, blah, throw it out there. And when I walk into a venue, my feelers are out. I'm like, I'll see a cute guest book. I'll be like, oh, I'm going to get a TikTok on that. I'll see a unique floor plan. I'm like, oh, let me go up on the balcony, shoot down and get a TikTok from up there. I mean, there's countless opportunities, but I think some people just walk by them and they don't think, oh, well, because to me, if I see something cute, I'm like, you know who needs to see that? Every bride planning their wedding needs to see that. And they'll just be like, they will eat it up. So you're at the events, you know what they're going to ask. The brides don't know. Most brides are like, oh my God, I'm engaged. What the heck do I do now, right? Like, they don't know.
That changed our perspective when we decided, like, wait, we're in the industry. We know these things. So you feel like maybe you're saying something that's super obvious, but the brides don't. They love seeing the inside. They love seeing, the behind the scenes and the little weird, cute nuances to weddings, right?
And we overthink it. We're like, I have to do a TikTok, which means that I have to set aside time and write something and think of something and set my lighting. And
it's such a good point.
It doesn't happen.
You do not. You got to get over that piece, and that's hard because it took me a while too, especially as a woman, right? It's like it's a little easier for him. He doesn't have to put on the makeup and do the hair. I still feel a little bit obligated to do that, but yeah. The eyebrows are about what he.
I usually wear it out just to make it look professional.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, you do. You kind of have to like let go of a little bit of that perfectionism that I think a lot of us have.
We don't all have beautiful hair like you, Ben.
Why? Thank you. I do put silver in it, mate, because it was going grey, but I thought, bugger it, you can go grey, but you're going to go now under my terms. So, yeah. Hey, so I'm going to go rogue again because I'm good at that. You said that with the videos and people want to see the more raw and the more, I guess, the raw and less well lit, well constructed, blah blah blah, like proper video sort of thing. Are you finding that is a much better way to get people engaged when they see the raw, as opposed to a nice constructed video?
I don't think it's a bad thing, especially if you are in one of the vendor categories that is heavy in aesthetics, like floral or videography, photography, to showcase your ability to create beautiful things, right? But for us in particular, we're talking about the experiences for our brides, right? And so where we resonate with our clients is getting them to trust us because we know what we're talking about. And they don't care so much that we're in a pretty place, right?
But to your point, we do try to, like, we do a lot of videos right here. We have good lighting set up.
Yep.
It's kind of a controlled environment, but it's nice to switch it up sometimes, right? Sometimes we'll sit on the porch. If we're at events, all the time at events, for sure. Airport, which is, it's very weird to be like, you know, if they're sitting there talking to your phone and people walk by, I'm always like, it's TikTok o'clock. Don't judge me. I'm trying to do some video, but you just have to get over it. It can be kind of it's hard not to like feel weird about it sometimes, but I'm a dork. I'm a dork anyway, so I channel my inner dork.
Yeah, I'm probably the same as so many other people. I feel weird turning the phone on myself or turning the Osmo on myself and just talking to it because I'm like, oh, people are going to think I'm mental. But
it's the way of the world now, though.
I know. Yep.
Do you scroll on TikTok just as like a user?
No, I have a disdain for TikTok.
Yeah, that's okay. Some people
which I shouldn't, but you know. But with that said, I do have a TikTok account and I do have a whole lot of videos and stuff on there, but I don't post on there. I don't frequent it or anything like that. So yeah.
Jack, do you doom scroll?
Yeah, I'm more of an Instagram cat video kind of girl, but you know, like the cat covered in a tiara and this is my life, and you know, trips to Italy, that sort of thing. That's more my vibe. It seems to just be constantly those two things.
Well, when we present to wedding professionals, one thing that we always say about, and it's not exclusive to TikTok, but if you scroll on TikTok at all, usually you see their face, right? They spin the camera around and they show their face. And even if it's just the beginning saying, oh my God, you got to see this guest book. And I do that video, then I flip my camera around. I'm like, look at how cute this is, whatever the thing is. But TikTok, like they learn who you are. And before you even open your mouth, they know what you're going to say because they see us and they know what we're talking about. I mean, besides we have our emblem in the background, but it's a thing. It's a hurdle you have to get over to be comfortable showing your face.
And that's all part of like marketing and branding, right? I mean, we've kind of like taken it into that short form video by showing our faces, at least in a portion of the video, so that because somebody can like a video and not know who it's from. You know what I mean? Right? Like you can like a really pretty video, but you don't relate that content to the person who created it. But if we're in them all the time, then they're like, oh, that's the wedding duo stuff. Oh, that's the guy that does the songs, you know? So then they start to identify with what we're doing.
Yeah. Are you guys very conscious about having that educational aspect to your videos? Because when you scroll through videos, I get a little bit concerned about the plight of humanity in 10, 20 years. When you look at what people are watching and what's blowing up, you go, oh my God, like, is this where we're headed?
It's terrifying. And we have 3 children. And so we're right at it, right? Where they're growing up in a world that looks very much different than ours. They get all their information and all their social time. I mean, it's all revolves around their online lives, right? So we understand that. And we really take a different approach when it comes to educating our audience, in that we really try to give suggestions. We never really want to be like overly opinionated or this is the right or wrong thing to do. We've always just kept kind of this is what we've seen work. This is our experience. So take it or leave it, right? Because we are mindful of the fact that brides have usually never done this before, planned a wedding, and they're impressionable. They feel, you know, stress and guilt if they can't afford something, you know, all those emotions. And we don't want to be contributing to that.
They're trying to navigate between their vision and their budget, right? And they don't always align. And so if you just watch the videos, everybody posts the videos from the really super bougie, over the top weddings. But for every one of those, there's hundreds in the church hall or the VFW or the backyard of Papa's place that they mowed the back 40 or whatever. Like, they're not all like that, but that's like pressure on the brides.
Yeah.
To your point, that's what they see, right? Back in the day, you'd only see your cousin's wedding, and you know, how many weddings did you go to? But now they see them once the algorithm knows you're engaged. Oh, here they come. Here comes the content.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd like to know, has there been one video that comes to mind that had a really significant impact on your business?
Yeah, actually, we did a video where the bride, it was a couple of ours, and she had him insert her voice into the track that she walked down the aisle to. So she had something she said to her groom, and before we made that big entrance where we opened the doors, she spoke over the speakers, over the instrumental part of the song. And it was the most powerful, emotional entrance, because she's talking and the groom didn't know what was happening. So you can see him just
Nobody did. Nobody knew.
Feels like a Madonna concert.
Yes.
You know, coming also.
It was very dramatic, very dramatic.
She said something like, all right, any minute, babe, we made it. I'm about to come down the doors and walk into your life. And I was like, and it was just, as he was holding it together and he was like, he actually said in the video, he goes, that's not fair. And I go, that's really not fair.
So that video did really well, millions of views.
Yeah.
And we got a lot of requests to do those kind of mashups for clients. But, you know, and it kind of created a trend in the industry of inserting your voice into the song that you're going to walk down the aisle to. So we've seen it happen since then, which is really cool.
But I got another one if I can add it in.
Go.
So I'm married to a planner, right? So I feel like very comfortable in saying this. The planners are usually A-type, and they're very much on schedule, right? That's their whole mission in life. We got to start on time because dinner's starting at this time, right? Which is it's an event, right? That's what their job is. So they're very A-type, and they're very like, for me, it was like, okay, that's the parents' song, go. Send the parents. That's the wedding party song, go. That's the bride song, go. And the bride was like, the doors open. It's 18 months of anticipation and anxiety for that moment. And the doors open and they go, and they run up to the altar. And I'm like, wait. Like, you picked this song for that reason to get to the chorus. And you didn't even get to the lyrics, let alone the chorus, because you ran up there. So I started doing videos saying, let's just wait. Like, keep the doors closed. Wait for that moment when the crescendo hits and then swing the doors open. Because I would say there's a reason why the music gets scary before the shark jumps out of the water, which is maybe not the best example. But my point is, like, let that build. And then, oh my God, the brides just latched onto that. And I've done 1,000 videos of suggesting songs for that exact moment. And that has really become a trend as well. And I'm so happy about it. So I'm like, can everybody just wait a minute? But
Yeah.
It reminds me of my wedding. I had my daughter, I think she was 4 at the time, and she was the flower girl. And yeah, we practiced many times that we would walk slow, and man, she just took off. She took off. It was like, it was very funny, but yeah.
It's a big ask for the little ones. So
yeah,
I understand completely.
You're like, Izzy, wait for me.
With all your videos that are going viral, that are doing so well, metrics is such a big thing. So how do you guys track how things are going, what's gone berserk, and how that's impacting your business?
Yeah. So something we do, again, going back to consistency, is that we do find that there are certain times a day that when we post, we get better engagement. Later in the evening, you know, it's kind of just common sense. Like when people are off work and they're able to look at their phone more, maybe. So we measure those types of things. We also find that the beginning of the video, and I'm sure everybody's heard this, is very important, right? You want to really attract the user's attention quickly so that they stick with you as long as possible, because the longer they stay on that video, the more the platform is going to push it out to more people. And so we keep an eye on that. And then the length of the video total, right? We've gotten to a point now with our following where we feel pretty comfortable doing longer videos because we've built an audience. But initially, we were trying to keep them to like under 30 seconds because people didn't know who we were as much. It's just easier to complete the full video if it's that short.
So hard for me. I'm like, I got things to say, but
it is hard for him.
We still, when she says long, 90 seconds. If I go over 90 seconds, she's editing something.
Yep.
She'll speed my voice up. I go, why do I sound funny? Like, because you had too much, it sped you up so I could get it all under 90 seconds.
Yep.
But you can do, you see, there's 10-minute TikToks out there, but well, you better have something. Yes, there are.
No,
you better. Yes, there are.
Don't even get any ideas.
You better have something really important to say.
I love it. So let's take it back to your business. What do you believe sets the Wedding Duo apart from other wedding businesses when people are considering booking the two of you?
You know what's funny? You know how we were just talking about the like down to earth kind of, we don't want to give brides the impression that like something is wrong or right, or, you know, give them suggestions instead of opinions. We attract a certain clientele. Maybe not necessarily has like a huge budget, but they'll budget for us, right? Like we connect so deeply with our clients. I think that it becomes just such a journey for us when we're planning with the couple over a year or however long it is, that when we finally show up at their wedding, whether we're flying out of state or, you know, going a couple hours, it really is this like momentous occasion for us to see them in person. And that's become really wonderful and fulfilling for us.
Well, to the earlier point about showing your face, and people hate to do it, but in the olden days, the first call, at least with the DJ, it's a very personality-based decision, right? The photographers have a portfolio, caterers have a tasting. Like the DJ is like, do we vibe? Am I the guy? Do I get you, right? Your music taste. So it used to be like, let's talk on the phone and see if I'm the guy for the job. But now when I get on the phone, they always say, I feel like I already know you because I've watched countless videos of yours. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
It's almost like just sign here, right? Because then it's just, am I available and is it in the budget?
Right.
Because they're already a huge fan. We'll go to wedding fairs and people show up and be like, oh my God, I follow you. It's good for my ego. I'm a boy. It's fragile. So it's nice. But we've been recognized at airports. We've been recognized at the grocery store. It's really, it's kind of freaky, but like I said, it's really fun. But it's, talk about good for business. We'll be at a wedding fair and people will say, we came because we saw on your social media that you're going to be here. That's the only reason we're here. And I'm like, great. They didn't even need a DJ. They're just, or a planner. They just came to say hi.
Say hi. Yeah.
And next step will be what? Best-selling authors.
No. Let's see if we can not argue long enough to get it done.
Well, that's
so is the book done?
No, probably 70%.
Yeah,
but then it needs to go through like editing and all that.
So
can you give us a bit of a sneak peek of what everyone can expect?
So the Wedding Duo Way is actually a little bit more about how we built our San Antonio company, because we have a planning and DJ company in San Antonio. We don't actually live in San Antonio anymore. So we live in Ohio. And so the book is a little bit more about how in the wedding industry, we built a 6-figure business and then moved. And we're basically absentee, and we still are owners of this business, and how that's possible, for everyone out there to do, and just how we went through the process of building a team and really owning the ownership role rather than working as, the worker bees.
And we talked through how everybody, when they start to work for themselves, takes that leap of faith where they jump away from benefits or the security or the paycheck that they're getting at the other place. Because it's a great weekend gig, right? If you're a photographer and you work the weekends, but you work at the bank Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, whatever it is. If you make that jump to being full-time, that's scary, right? But there's a lot of the book that we talk about, our social media and our tricks and our things we do, how we edit, like the nuts and bolts. Like get yourself a ring light, get yourself a good lighting if you're going to shoot something like that. So we talk a lot about the nuts and bolts of that too, and just the things we've said here too. Show your face. Show your face.
Show your face.
Showing my face right now. All right, it's a challenge.
Good start.
Ben,
Yes.
I want to hear the answer to your question, your famous question.
So, guys, at the end of every podcast, I ask a question that I ask everyone. If you guys, I guess you can both answer this each if you like, because there is two of you. So, if you walked outside now, ran into an 18-year-old version of yourself, what advice would you give yourself around life and business and that sort of thing, knowing what you know now?
Want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first. I can think about it.
Yeah, Dominic, you go first.
Yeah.
You look back, and you always think like, man, I was an idiot, right? I mean, because I'm sure I'll look back at myself in 10 years and be like, you were an idiot. Like, look back then. But it's really hard when you're young to just really be your true self, because you're always trying to fit the round peg in the square hole of whatever society wants you to be. And I've always been silly and over the top and energetic. And there's a lot of times where it's like, you just have to suppress all that, right? So I would almost tell myself, like, it's coming. There's a job waiting for you that you could just get behind that and ride that wave all the way to success, but even then I'd be like, just be yourself. People will like you or they won't, but you can't be something you're not. And that really, our social media is like that. Like, we really try to be genuine. And that's the best compliment I can give somebody. If they're genuine, you know how you meet somebody and you're like, I wonder if they're really like, because all that, whatever they're portraying, that is so fake. You're like, you can't, but when you meet somebody, you feel like you're really talking to the actual person without any expectations, or they're trying to impress you or something. I'm like, just be yourself. Be yourself. That's what I would tell my idiot younger self.
Awesome.
You've owned the internet.
Serena?
I've channeled my inner idiot for sure.
Yeah, I think when I think about myself at that age and before, some of our success, or any success in life, there was a lot of pressure that I put on myself to figure it out, right? Like, figure out who I was or what I was supposed to be doing or what job was going to complete me. And, all those questions needed to be answered. And I still don't have the answers, even at this stage in life, to a lot of them, right? But I would just tell myself to be present, because I really feel like a lot of time goes by and we don't spend enough time just enjoying, like, for example, like what we get to do for a living and be together at events and have fun with our clients and with our kids and our family, right? Like, you can just spend a lot of time like focusing on what I need to do for the future instead of enjoying the present. And that's something I'm really trying to work on, and I would like to have started earlier. So that's what I would tell her for sure.
Have you answered it, Ben? What's yours? Go.
Oh, wow. For me, I think it's a kind of a two-pronged answer. For me, it's just be yourself and don't care what anyone else thinks, because everyone else's opinion of you doesn't matter. That's one half of it. The other half would be to master one thing and then move on to the next, and don't try to spread yourself too thin. So become the master at one thing, and then continually move on to the next and build your skills that way, instead of trying to be great at everything.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That is a good one.
Me?
Yep.
Jack? We haven't answered these questions, Jack.
I see. The pressure's on us. We're supposed to be all.
Mine has nothing to do with wedding or business. It has to do with when I was 18, I thought I was fat. And darling, you weren't fat. You're fat now. If only I could be that kind of fat again.
I kind of feel you on that one, but as a woman, like, yeah, like if I could have that metabolism back, please. Yes.
Oh dear. All right. Well, thanks, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure having you. I'm sure we've got lots of other topics that we can talk about, even outside of video. But guys, if you want to check out the Wedding Duo, whether you're going to book them or buy their book, the website is theweddingduo.co, and you can of course find them on TikTok, Instagram, all the platforms. Their username is the.weddingduo. Thanks so much, Dominic and Serena. It's been a pleasure getting to know you.
It's been a pleasure chatting with you guys as well.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. It's been awesome chatting to you as well.